Good morning, students. Welcome to online teaching session of Academy World School, Benaitra. Dear students, today we are going to start a new lesson in physics for class 9. That is the second lesson. That is your force and your laws of motion. Before going to start, I would like to tell something about this chapter as an introduction. If you remember, in our previous chapter, that is the motion, we have read about the motion. We have come across the different type of the physical quantities like velocity, displacement, accelerations, speed, okay, and so many. All these motions are along the straight line. Okay, the motion along the straight line, and we also read the relationship between the physical quantities. But we have never read what is the cause of the motion, what makes the body to move, how the body moves. That is not mentioned. But in this lesson, we will read about the causes of the motion. So before going to start the lesson, I want to show you or give a simple example for that. Suppose you see, here is a body X at the position A, and here is the position B. I want to take the body from A to B. Okay? I want to take the body from A to B. Now the question is, how the body will move? How the body will go? You can tell me the body will move. It should have its own motion. It will move from the position A to B and arrive at B. But what causes the motion? What causes the body to move? Now I am giving you the answer. Okay? See, I can tell you that I can take the body X from A to B either by pushing the body, okay, from the back side. If I push the body X, this is the body X. If I push the body will slowly start to move and it go up to B position. Second option is by pulling the body. If I pull the body from this end, the body will go to the B position. Okay? By pulling. And at last I have one more option. I can simply take the body from A and put it B. So it is called you taking the body or take away. Again I repeat, either by pushing or by pulling or by taking the body from A, the body will go to the position B. So now you remember that the pushing and pulling is the force. This is a new physical quantity. So push and pull is the force. You can start the lesson. Okay? So let me write down. Force is the push or pull. From this statement we will start our lesson. Okay? So now you have to open your book and copy with your pen and pencil, and you write along with me. So I have already started the lesson that the force is the push or the pull. This is the first simple definition of the force, which is a new physical quantity in this lesson. Now, second one will read what is the effect of the force. Now you see, if the force will be applied on a body, what will happen? But here I told you the force is the push or the pull, or force is the cause of the motion. Again I can write cause of the motion is the force, or force causes motion. Force causes motion in a body. Right? Now let me write down effects of the force. Effects of force. Effects of the force means what will happen if a force is applied on a body. Now you see that if the force will be applied, there may be the change in speed. The body may start to move. The body may stop if it is already in motion. The body may change the direction. The shape and size of the body may be changed. The body may rotate the direction also. These are the effect of the forces. Let me write down effect of the forces. That is your change in speed. Change in speed. Start to move or stop the motion in a body, rotate to change the direction, change the shape and size. So these are the effect of the force on a body. Okay, change in speed you see. Suppose the body is moving at a speed of the 40 km per hour and you want the speed 60 km per hour. How it would be? You have to apply the accelerator. So by applying the accelerator, by turning on the accelerator or putting the foot on the accelerator is that we are applying the force. So by the application of the force, speed is changing. Either it may increase or it may decrease. Decrease how? If you want to decrease the speed, we have to apply the brake. If you want to stop the motion of the body, you have to apply the brake. Applying the brake means you are applying the force. Then start to move. Suppose the body, the vehicle is at rest, you want to drive it. First of all, you have to turn the key. Turning the key means you are applying the force. Starting the vehicle means you are applying the force. So force is required to start a body in motion. Okay? Then you rotate. If you want to change the direction of the body or the vehicle, suppose the vehicle is moving in the straight line. You want to change the direction towards left or to right. You have to move the steering or maybe move the handle. It means we are applying the force. Okay? Then to rotate. If you want to rotate the body either in the clockwise way or maybe the anti-clockwise way, again it requires the application of the force. Then force can also change the shape and size. Suppose a body will be given to you. You want to break it into the small pieces. How it will be? You have to break it, you have to apply the force. By applying force, the body will be broken up into the small pieces. So the shape and size is going to change by the application of the force. So these are the effect of the force. Okay? Next one is your types of the force. Force is broadly classified into contact force and non-contact force. Let me write down. So I will explain you now types of force, right? Types of force. Force is broadly classified into, first one is the contact force and second one is your non-contact force. Okay? Contact force and non-contact force. Contact force means if the two bodies are in touch, they both have contact with each other and the force is being applied, then the force is contact. But if there is a gap between the two bodies, but force is applied, then it is called your non-contact force. Again, the contact force is divided into different types. The contact force is divided into frictional force. Second one is the normal force. Third one is the spring force. Then fourth one is the tension, right? And similarly, your non-contact force is divided into different categories. First one is the gravitational force. Second one is the magnetic force, and third one is your electrostatic force. Okay? Now I will explain you one by one, giving you the definitions. Okay? So again I repeat, contact force are divided into frictional force, normal force, spring force and the tension force. Okay? And the non-contact force is divided into gravitational force, magnetic force and electrostatic force. Now, first of all you see that what is the meaning of the frictional force. You know that, I think you know already what is the meaning of the friction. Again I want to repeat it once again. Friction, if the two bodies are in touch, they are in contact, both the bodies are rubbing each other, or the one body is actually sliding over the another body, then the word friction comes. You might have seen that when a vehicle is running on the road, the tire of the wheel is rubbing on the road. Okay? That also creates the force which is due to the friction. So friction means rubbing. Well, so this is your frictional force. Then come to the normal force. Normal force means the force that is perpendicular on a surface of the body which is in contact. Okay? Normal force means, again I repeat, the force that is perpendicular on a surface of the body which is in contact. That is called your normal force. Then come to the spring force. As the name says, the spring. I think that you might have seen the spring. Spring are looking like this type of this structure. Okay. So spring force means the force exerted by the spring when it is attached to a body. Okay. And the spring may be the compressed. The spring may be the stretched. Understand? Again I repeat. The force exerted by the spring, it may be the compressed or stretched, and it is connected with any other body. That is called your spring force. Okay? Then come to the tension. Tension force means it is the force that is distributed along the rope or maybe the cable or maybe the wire when it is pulled by the force in opposite way. Suppose you see there is a cable or a rope. Rope is tied here. Okay? And we are pulling the rope. It may be the wire also, it may be the cable also. If you pull that with a force in opposite way, then the force is called tension. Okay? So now I told you the meaning of the contact forces. Now come to the non-contact forces. The first one is the gravitational force. What is the meaning of the gravitational force? See, gravitational force means the force in between the two bodies with different masses and they are being separated by certain distance. Okay? Let me give you the example of the gravitational force. You can take an example of the solar system. In our solar system, the planets are hanging. There are the planets and the sun. They are in the solar system, they are hanging, but they are not falling down. Why they are not falling down? They are not falling down because the planets and the sun are having the force of attraction. That force of attraction is known as gravitational force. Gravitational force is coming from the gravity, coming from the mass of the body. Okay, you see that the sun is attracting every planet towards itself. Each and every planet is also having their attraction. This force of attraction in the heavenly bodies is known as your gravitational force. You will read about it in your next lesson. Then come to the magnetic force. Magnetic force means the force of attraction or maybe the repulsion in between the two magnets, in between the two same pole or maybe the opposite pole, or the magnet and the iron. You might have seen that the magnet will attract the irons. Okay? So how it attracts the iron? Because of the force which is known as the magnetic force. If you take the two magnets, if you take the north pole of the one magnet and the south pole of the another magnet, they both will attract each other because of the magnetic force. You may take the north and north or south and south, same pole, they will repel each other. That is also the magnetic force. Okay? So the force exerted by the magnet is known as magnetic force. Next one is the electrostatic force. Electrostatic force means the force of attraction or maybe the repulsion in between the same charges or maybe the opposite charges. In electricity, you know that there are the two different types of the charges. One is the positive charge, second one is the negative charge. If one positive charge and one negative charge will be kept together, they will attract each other. Okay? If you take the same charges, positive or negative, there will be the repulsion. So the force of attraction or maybe the repulsion in between the charges is known as electrostatic force. But here you see, in gravitational force, magnetic force and electrostatic force, you can get that the bodies are not in contact. They do not touch each other even though there is force of attraction. That is called your non-contact force. Okay? So now I explain you what is the contact force and what is the non-contact force. And after that I will explain you balanced and unbalanced force and the resultant force. So let me write down first of all the resultant force. What is the meaning of the resultant force? Resultant force means this is the net force, this is the net force, which is equal to net force equal to the sum of all other forces applied on the body. Okay, applied on a body. So as the word says, resultant means sum or total. So the resultant force means this is the net force which is equal to the sum of all other forces applied on a body. This is the total force. Next one, you can have to remember that your balanced force and unbalanced force. Balanced force and second one is unbalanced force. Let me start from the balanced force. Balanced force means if you take the two forces with equal magnitude and the two forces are applied on a body in two different directions or opposite directions, at that time what will happen? The force is said to be the balanced because the net force is equal to 0 and the body cannot move. Okay, so in balanced force, actually what happens? Either the body will be at rest, or if the body is moving, then it will move in your same velocity. Okay, the body will be at rest or the body will move in the same velocity. Where? In balanced force. Okay, then come the unbalanced force. If the magnitude of the applying forces are not equal, not same, then it is called unbalanced force. And when the unbalanced force is applied, then there will be the change in motion. The body may be accelerated, and the motion depends upon the amount of the force and the mass of the body. So in unbalanced force, the body may be accelerate, and it depend on amount of the force and your mass of the body. Okay, so this is the difference between the balanced force and unbalanced force. I can give a simple example to explain you balanced and unbalanced force. Okay, so let me explain you. Suppose here there is a table like this. Here there is a table, okay, and on the table there is a body is being kept. Okay, there is a body on the table. Let me tie one rope here. Let me tie a rope here, and if I pull the rope along the right hand side, the body will move in this way. Right? Similarly, suppose if I tie a rope along the left side and I pull it here, then the body will move in this direction. Yes? Now suppose we apply the two equal force on both the sides, this side and that side. We apply both the equal force and stretch or pull. What will happen? The body cannot move. Because we are applying the same force along the right side, we apply the same force along the left side. So how the body will move? The body cannot move. This is the example of the balanced force. So here what will happen? The body will get rest and the net force is equal to 0. So the net force is equal to 0 in case of the balanced force. Now, the body will start to move when there will be an imbalance in the force. Suppose at the right side, we apply the more force than left side. What will happen? The body will move towards the right side. Yes? Similarly, suppose the force applied along the left side is more than the right side. Then what will happen? The body will move along the left side. So this force is called unbalanced force. Okay, so this is a very simple example to explain you the differences between the balanced force and unbalanced force. Okay, after that I will explain you the laws of the motion, which is very important in this lesson. Okay, so let me start with the laws of the motion. Dear students, if you remember in our first lesson, previous lesson, we read the equations of the motion. Okay, but here you are going to read the your laws of the motion. Do not confuse with equation of the motion and the laws of the motion. Okay, equation of motion is in the first lesson, and in second lesson laws of the motion. Laws of the motion were given by the Newton. So it is called Newton's laws of the motion. There are three laws of the motion. First law, second law and the third law. Today we will learn first and the second law. Okay? So let me write down Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion. The statement of the first law of the motion is that every body continues in its state of rest or of motion unless and until it is acted upon by some external force to change the state of rest or of the motion. Let me write down the statement and after that I will explain you the meaning. Everybody continues in its state of rest or of motion unless and until it is acted upon by some external force to change that state of rest or of motion. So this is the first law of the motion, Newton's first law of the motion. Again let me read it out. The statement is everybody continues in its state of rest or of motion unless and until it is acted upon by some external force to change the state of rest or of motion. So what is the meaning of this law? The meaning of this law is that if a body is at rest, it will be at rest. If the body is in motion, it will be in motion till the external force is applied. It means if the external force is not applied on a body, the body will remain as it is. The body which is not moving, it will be remain at rest, not moving. If the body is moving, it will keep on moving in the same velocity. This is the meaning of the first law of the motion. So now, what we are getting from the first law? We are getting the first one is that your definition of the force. Second thing we are getting about the inertia. Okay? Let me write down. We get the definition of the force. And second we get the inertia. These two things we are getting from the first law of the motion. First you see that what is the definition of the force? As I told earlier, force is the push or the pull, or we can say that force is the agent, external agent which can make the work done. Okay? Which can get the work done. Let me write down the definition. Force is an agent that get the work done. It means that we can do our work. The work may be the small or big, whatever it may be, due to application of the force. If the force will not be applied, no work will be done. Okay? This is the definition of the force. Force is also the push or pull that I already told. Now the second term is inertia. So what is the meaning of the inertia? Let me write down the definition of the inertia. Inertia is the tendency. It is the tendency of the body. To oppose the change in its state of rest or motion. So this is known as the inertia. Again I repeat, inertia is the tendency of the body to oppose the change in its state of rest or of the motion. There are three types of inertia. That is your inertia of the rest. Second one is inertia of the motion. And the third one is inertia of the direction. Okay? Now I want to explain you what is the meaning of the inertia of the rest. Inertia of the rest means resistance of the body to change the state of rest. Okay? inertia of the motion means again the resistance of the body to change the state of the motion, and the same thing to the direction also. Inertia of the rest means resistance of the body to change the state of rest. And similarly, the inertia of the motion means resistance of the body to change the state of motion, okay? And similarly, direction also you can write down. So again I repeat, inertia is of the three types: inertia of the rest, inertia of the motion, and inertia of the direction. I want to give you the example of the inertia of the rest, motion, and the direction. Inertia of the rest. First of all, you see that I will give a very simple example to explain you this one. Let me write down inertia of rest. Okay. Examples. Suppose you see that a bus or vehicle is at rest. Suppose a driver immediately start the vehicle. Okay. Suppose here is a bus and it is at rest, and the driver immediately start. So what will happen? You see that the passengers who are sitting inside the bus, they will fall back. Okay, they will fall back. This is an example of inertia of the rest. Now the question is, why did they fall? Why they fall? Because when the bus is at rest, the passengers are also at rest. They are not moving. So when the driver immediately accelerates, the bus will start to move, and so is the lower part of the body of the passengers will also start to move, but not the upper part. Hence the upper part will fall back and the lower part move according to bus. So the passengers fall back. This is an example of the inertia of the rest. Then come to inertia of motion. Inertia of the motion. Suppose you see a moving bus. In a moving bus, the driver applies the brake all of the sudden. What will happen? The passengers will fall front. Okay? Why? Now because when the bus is moving at a high speed, the passengers are also moving at the high speed along with the bus. When the driver applies the brake all of the sudden, the bus comes to rest, and the lower part of the body of the passengers is also coming to rest, but not the upper part. So the lower part comes to rest and upper part is still moving. So the passengers fall front. So this is the example of the inertia of the motion. Then your inertia of the direction. Suppose a driver turn the bus all of a sudden. Okay. So what will happen? The passengers who are sitting inside the bus, they will be feeling the jerking towards the outward. That is an example of your inertia of the direction. So do remember that. So this is all about your first law of the motion. Then come to the second law of the motion. Okay? In second law of the motion, there are two types of the derivations. I will also derive that. Before going to start, you have to know something about the linear momentum. Linear momentum. What is the meaning of the momentum? Momentum is another physical quantity which can be found out by multiplying mass with velocity. So P is equal to m into v. P for your momentum, m is the mass and v is the velocity. So momentum is the product of the mass and velocity, and which give you the total quantity of the motion in a body. It is a vector quantity, and the SI unit of the momentum is your kilogram meter per second or gram centimeter per second. Okay, gram centimeter per second, right? Kilogram meter per second or gram centimeter per second. This is the unit of the momentum. Understood? And after that come to the second law of the Newton's. Second law of the motion, which is given by the Newton. Or I can write Newton's second law. Okay? First I will write the derivation, your statement, and after that I will give you the derivation. First statement is like that: the rate of change of momentum in a body is directly proportional to the applied force let me write down rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum in a body is directly proportional to the applied force. Okay? Now we see how to derive this. To derive this, let us the mass of the body is m. Let the initial velocity is equal to your u. Final velocity is equal to your v. So now you write that initial momentum is equal to your m into u, and similarly the final momentum is equal to m into v. So what is the change in momentum? Write down change in momentum is equal to mv minus mu. Then you write rate of change of momentum. Rate of change in momentum is equal to mv minus mu upon t. So this is your rate of change of momentum. Then I told you that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. So how to write this? I will write it in this way: mv minus mu upon t is directly proportional to the force. Okay? So now if I take m as common, I will get v minus u upon t proportional to f. Then I can write m into v minus u upon t equal to acceleration. So m into a proportional to f. Or I can write m into a is equal to k into f, where k is the constant. Now you see, if I want to take the value of the k is equal to 1, then ma equal to f, taking k equal to 1. Okay? So again I can write f is equal to m into a. So hence this is the measurement of the force. How can we measure the force? We can measure the force by multiplying mass with acceleration. Again you see that mv minus mu upon t is the rate of change of momentum which is directly proportional to the force. So from mv minus mu upon t we are getting ma proportional to f. So when we want to withdraw the proportion sign in any of the law, we have to multiply a constant. So here I multiply the constant k, so that the proportion sign will be changed to equal sign. So m into a equal to k into f. So when k equal to 1, then what will happen? So m into a equal to f. So force is equal to mass into acceleration. So from the second law of the motion we are getting the measurement of the force, that is force equal to mass into acceleration. Okay? So up to that today we learn. In my next session I will explain you the another method of the derivation of the second law of the motion and more something. Okay? Now before concluding my lesson I want to recapitulate whatever I explained today. I told you that the cause of the motion, first of all I told you, then I defined the force, after that I told you the effect of the force, then I told the types of the force, they are the contact and the non-contact force, given the examples, then I told you the difference between the balanced and unbalanced force, and after that I told you what is the meaning of the resultant force. Then I went to the Newton's laws of the motion. I told you that there are the three laws, first, second and third, and today I explained you the first and the second law of the motion. Okay? And I also told you about the linear motion also. Well, before going to conclude, I want to give you the assignment of my session. Please write it down and do remember that you have to do the assignment in any of the copy. Take the pic of that and put it in the ERP, and it is compulsory to solve the assignment. And this is your part of the PT1. Okay? So please write down the questions of this assignment of today's session. Assignment. Question number 1. I have given you that your what is force, write its types. What is force? Write its types. Then my second question is state the Newton's first law of motion. state Newton's first law of motion, and explain about inertia. And the third question is state and derive the second law of the motion. State and derive second law of the motion. Okay. So these are the assignment of this session. Hope that you will do it and upload in ERP. This is the part of your PT1. Again, I wanted to remind you. So well, thank you very much. Have a nice study.